Carlisle, Yahba Shimei Shai. Double honors to the apostle GMS. Honestly, brothers, that be pushing this truth and sincerity. This is gonna be a quick video, and really it's damn near like it's based off of the videos that I just did like a week ago, speaking about this economic euphoria that you got out here, and these people, you know, uh, getting into all kind of crazy debt because they think they're gonna be able to afford it and all of that, man. And here's the proof of what I was saying, man. And it's saying here, UK sailing blindly into a financial meltdown bigger than 2008. Think tank warns. Okay, so you have a group of analysts that's got together, and they've come to the same conclusion that I've come to in my own humble mind, and many other people, you know, namely the prophecies and so on and so forth, have come to the same conclusion that you're going into an economic meltdown. Okay, you're going into a financial meltdown. All right, there's no way to chop it and make it, you know, like it's something different. And what's important to take away from this is the fact that they said bigger. Okay, so what did you have in 2008? You had it in 2008. You had a lot of subprime loans and so on and so forth, and people were losing their houses, and you know, people were getting laid off of their jobs. Okay, people are still talking about that right up until this day, where they're saying, look, I got laid off and I lost my job and this, that, and the third. Now, what you're gonna have out here with this bigger than 2008 financial meltdown, you're not just gonna have it to where banks, you know, a bank here, a bank there, is gonna default. Okay, you're gonna have major banks defaulting because why? Because all of these different banks are in some kind of debt, man. They're in some kind of financial troubles. The proof of that is the negative interest that was it the Scottish bank. Was it NatWest? NatWest was offering to issue out as a precautionary measure because all of these people, you know, all of these bankers are finding that they're not making the same amount of profits that they were making prior to the 2008 crash. Now that's happening before this meltdown has happened. Okay, so that suggests that big crash that they're talking about, that big meltdown they're talking about, that's gonna be of a biblical proportion, and we know that it's gonna be of a biblical proportion because we have, you know, something first with the elders of GMS and so on and so forth. You know, brothers have been speaking about this money system going out. Okay, but we also know, because the scripture says we're not supposed to be ignorant of Satan's devices. We also know that the elite banking families, they're the ones that are fabricating this. Okay, they're fabricating all of these financial crashes and so on and so forth. The Brexit is important because the Brexit allows the finance fraction of, you know, Esau's three frog system, that being the Roman Catholic Church, which deals with the spiritual side of things. Okay, London, Britain dealing with the financial side of things, and America dealing with the military side of things. That allows that financial structure to break down so that they can rebuild that. Okay, so we take that system of breaking stuff down and we apply Aleister Crowley's theory of chaos, order out of chaos. Well, they're gonna try to implement a financial order out of the financial chaos that they're gonna set up. Okay, so that financial order, we know that to be the mark of the beast. And you know what? I say it all the time, and I speak on it over and over again because it, you know, Jake is a hard-headed people, man. Okay, that's why you got people out here, you know, Israelites, namely, doing all kind of crazy things because these next to zero interest rates, okay, are allowing them to do that. But when we get into that financial meltdown, you're gonna see all kind of inflation. Okay, you're gonna see people's houses getting repossessed. Okay, saying that they can't pay off their credit card debt and so on and so forth. It's gonna be crazy, man. Okay, and the only people that are gonna be surviving out of that is the elect men of the Most High that have prepared their minds for these things that are happening out here. Okay, it says Britain is heading into a financial crisis worse than 2008. Now let's pause there. What do we need to understand? What do we need to take away from this statement? What we need to take away from this statement is the fact that Britain is actually supposedly one of the strongest economies that you got out there. Now, if they're having trouble to where they're saying they're getting into a crisis worse than 2008, then you can come to the same conclusion that all of these countries across the world are coming into a crisis. Okay. Because when in 2008 you had it to where the United States, they were in economic disaster situations, and so was England, and so was the rest of the world. Okay, it was a global market downturn. Okay, so if they're saying it's worse than 2008, and it can't just affect the Bank of England, all right, and the proof of that is the so-called Black Friday, and that was instigated by out there by what happened out there in China, man. Okay, so what happened out there in China ricocheted all the way to out for all of the world, and everybody felt that downturn in the market. So all of that is gonna happen again, man. All right, and this is the proof of what I've been, what the prophets of the Lord have been saying for a long time, man. Okay, it says in the collapse of the Bank of England is asleep at the. It says Britain is heading into a financial crisis worse than 2008. Collapse, and the Bank of England is asleep at the wheel, and the think tank has warned. And they're saying it's asleep at the wheel as in a driver that falls asleep at the wheel of the car and eventually gets into a crash. But ultimately, we know that these elite banking families are allowing them to do that. Okay, so they can set up this mark of the beast system. It says a devastating report by the Adam Smith Institution has blasted the Bank of England's stress tests, which are meant to check the resilience of the bank to the economic shocks as being like a ship radar system that cannot detect an iceberg. So when they did this study, when if you want to read this and you read a little bit more of it on your own, when you go into the study they tested, they liken it onto a ship, okay, that's got an iceberg right in front of it, but the radar system can't detect it, and that's a prevalent analogy, because you think about it, you got it to where the men of the Lord, they can see the iceberg, man, that financial iceberg that this economic ship, if you will, is about to hit, but the detection systems that the ship's got, meaning to say what these people trust in, they can't see what's right in front of them, man. Okay, so when you read that, they go all up into that, but the fact of the matter is, we can see this crash is coming, but nobody's speaking about it. Okay, nobody's talking about it. It's not on your mainstream media. Now, this is more or less mainstream media, but nobody's really they're gonna see that, and they're gonna think it to be, they're gonna laugh it to scorn, in other words, man. All right, and that's what the scripture says in the book of Proverbs, the first chapter, and the 26th verse. Therefore will I laugh at your calamities, because here it is, you've been laughing at us, okay, whilst you're driving around in your finance car, you're living in your extra premium house, okay, that's way, the price of it is way blown out of proportion. You're feeling good about yourself, okay. Here it is, you was laughing the men of the Lord to scorn, but the fact of the matter is this. You're not going to be able to live in that situation for far too long, man. Okay, and that goes for both Jake and Esau, man. Okay, because you got Jake out here, the Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, thinking that they're in some type of level because they're doing a tad bit better than these elite banking families, man. Okay, so this is what the future holds for all of these people out here. All right, save the men of the Lord. And really the elite, because the elite are going to be able to survive through this, because they're the ones that instigate it. But they're only going to be able to survive through this because the Most High said it was going to be the first fruits of captivity. They're going to be the first fruits of slavery, right? All right. So let's read a little bit more of this. And it says, a devastating report by the Adam Smith Institution has blasted the Bank of England stress tests as being which are meant to check the resilience of the bank to economic shocks as being like a ship radar system that cannot detect an iceberg. All right. It says he predicts that Britain is sleepwalking into a second global financial crisis, which is even bigger than the last one. Now, this is where really you gotta read in between the lines. Okay, you really gotta read in between the lines, and it's not really that difficult. Now, when you see the headline, it says UK sailing blindly into a financial meltdown, bigger than 2008 think tanks. Now, when you go back to this, it says he predicts Britain is sleepwalking into a second global financial crisis. Okay, it says global, but the premise is British. Okay, Britain, which is two things, two independent systems. But really, what they're really leading to say is that Britain is going to be blamed, really, for the second global financial crisis, which is going to be even bigger than the last one. In other words, it's going to be a second global financial crisis. Okay, it's not saying Britain is going into a financial crisis bigger than 2008. It says it's sleepwalking into a second global financial crisis, which is even bigger than the last one. So it's very likely they're going to blame the second global financial crisis on Britain. Okay, so I like how they worded that, but all praise to the Most High that we can see through past this statement. Okay, so pretty much with that, you can read the rest of the article for yourself. I'm gonna bore you with me reading over and over the stuff that you can read for yourself, man. All right. So with that, I'm gonna say all praise unto Yahweh Shemel Shai, double honest the apostles of GMS, honest your brothers that be pushing this truth and sincerity. Shalom.